Hey everybody, Kyle Meinke here from MLive.com, joined by Nate Atkins. We are in Indianapolis for the first day of the Combine. Bob Quinn kicking things off today. Talked all manner of topic, Nate, free agency, the draft, all kinds of things. But thing that was really catching headlines today was his comments on Joe Mixon. Obviously a talented running back from Oklahoma. He'd probably be a first or maybe a second round pick based on talent alone, but there are red flags. For lack of a better word, he broke a woman's face with his fist in 2014. It's a really gruesome event. He was charged for it, suspended for a season because of it. A video subsequently came out, and it's bad. It's gruesome, and he's going to fall in the NFL draft because of it. But Quinn was saying today that Mixon is still on the Lions draft board, and that he wishes Mixon were invited to the Combine so he could explain himself and the circumstances of the event. What'd you make of what Bob Quinn had to say on Joe Mixon?
Yeah, it was an interesting ledge for him to go out on and criticize the NFL in this manner. This isn't really something we've seen out of him. I think this is the natural scout in Bob Quinn coming out. You know, that's how he came up through the ranks with the Patriots. He loves an event like this because you get to really dive into players and see who they are as people, see who they are as athletes, obviously, but the people level of it is really important, and I think that's what he thinks is just missing with a guy that he's going to get drafted. Joe Mixon's going to go somewhere, so some team's going to take him, and whoever that is wants to be able to really investigate the situation, investigate who he is and where this all has come. And I think this was mostly a general statement from Bob Quinn about not letting guys come to the Combine, where this is where they can explain it to teams, to us, and really try and put it all out there so teams know what they're getting.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the crime is it's hard to look at. I saw the video actually for the first time today when I was writing my story, and it's awful. Yeah. But I understand exactly what he was saying. I have no problems with what Quinn said. I mean, really, if you break it down, there's two things he's saying. One was that Mixon should have been allowed to come to the Combine, and I agree with that. The Combine is not a 40-yard dash-a-thon. Okay, it's a vetting process. That's how it started. It's what it is. And if I talk to teams, the most they get out of this process is the medicals, and it's talking to players. It's often their first contact with a player. And so why would you disqualify a guy from coming here who needs to be vetted more than anybody? And I think that's to what Quinn was saying. And the second thing is just that he's still on the board, and that doesn't mean that the Lions are drafting Mixon or that they're trying to draft him or they're angling for him or whatever. It just means they haven't ruled him out yet, and that's because they haven't talked to him. They haven't fully investigated the situation. The situation is awful again, but they're trying to do their normal draft work, their prep work, and I understand what he's saying on that front.
Yeah, I mean, they probably have 300 guys in their draft board right now, so it's just something they're going to look into and at least want to explore. And Quinn even told us that this would never be, specifically with Mixon, that wouldn't be a pick he would ever do without going to Martha Ford, who's going to have some huge concerns, as any owner would. I think she might even have more as a female owner. So
it's interesting to note that there's a female owner and a primarily female board of directors for the Lions, and Martha Ford just last year won an award in Detroit called the Zero Tolerance Award for her zero tolerance on domestic violence. So it would be ironic a year later to draft a guy who broke a woman's face, and so there's a lot of red flags and red tape to sort through. I don't think the Lions are drafting Joe Mixon tomorrow, but they are considering him, and let's raise some red flags back home. But don't get too crazy about it, because it's just a part of the normal draft process, even for a crime that's so bad as this one. For Nate Atkins, I'm Kyle Meinke. We are MLive. Keep it right here.